This is the voice of freedom. We are not one voice. We are many. We are your voice. But we can only be effective if you use your voice. Your voice. This is the voice of freedom. We will not hide from the truth. We will ask the hard questions until we are sure we have the truth. Welcome to the voice of freedom, where your voice will never be silenced.
Well, g'day, folks. Wow, it's been a late night. That's because I've been glued to, well, all sorts of weird things today. I've started out electronically, nearly electrocuted myself, didn't succeed. Conducted somewhat of a, kind of successful, somewhat not successful experiment, and I'll explain that one to you very shortly. I read a news.com.au article today, which I think may have been taken down, but if memory serves, I think I sent it to myself. So let me just fire up the email on this computer. Part of the problem that I've had is I was doing a little bit of editing today. I did a lot of filming around this early experiment. If you were watching on Nun2K, you would have seen a water experiment that I started out this morning. I'd like to thank everybody who's contacted me about that. Apparently, there's a few things you should do, and there are a few things you should not do when it comes to electrolysis and what I was doing with water today. One of the things that you should not do is boil the water. If the water is boiling, you're not doing too well. Melissa, thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you and Happy New Year and all those other great things. So, yes, you may have seen in the video earlier today that there was already a boiling San Pellegrino glass. I can tell you that has just turned into a sludge you wouldn't believe. There were a couple of others, tap water and Brisbane tap water and filtered Brisbane tap water. We're going to have a little bit of a look at those in the near future. Now, I'm just trying to see whether or not this email arrived to myself. It was an article today on news.com.au about conspiracy. Well, they call them theorists. I would call us analysts. I think that's, if we're going to have this thing and we're going to use word definitions, then look up the conspiracy definition and see whether or not that actually matches your use or thinking of those against us, what they believe the word actually means. Conspiracy is, it only takes a couple of us to really be thinking about conspiracy and being able to prove it, which of course we can. So it goes from theory to fact, and you get from theory to fact by analysis. So I don't know, am I being a smart ass by calling us conspiracy analysts? Don't know. All right, so I'm having a bit of trouble finding this news.com.au article that was written by an Adelaide, and I say this in inverted commas with a bit of laughing and joking, journalist. His name is Jason Seidel, I think, or Seidel. He has 510 followers on Twitter. This apparently guarantees you a spot as a contributing writer to news.com.au. I don't hold news.com.au up in any way at all. Please do not think that I do. That is certainly not the case. However, I was a bit surprised to find that their main page story this morning was, in fact, written by this bloke and beyond awful about how we, conspiracy theorists, the far right, if you like, are the world's worst people. And it's only going to get worse. And the things that, set us off are these proven incorrect theories that we've had in the past. I'm going to stop looking so I can concentrate more. I've got to tell you, hi Sunflower. I've just gone back to the chat. So, hey, nice to see you there. Hi Neville. I missed a whole heap of hellos. I said hello to Melissa because she popped up in a different color. Elsa, lovely to see you in the house too. Yeah, right. So, anyway, I digress. Can't find that article, but the article basically pinned, and I'm sure a lot of you saw it, as picked us all as awful people that should be handed around. They started. This bloke started talking about sovereignty. He has absolutely no understanding of the word sovereignty, which was quite evident in his document. He has no understanding of Magna Carta and where it comes from, much less any understanding of the Constitution to which he pertained to be sort of kind of smart-assingly speaking about. I sent him an interview request. I've sent a few today. Haven't heard back from him. What a surprise. All right. So let's get to the fun part. Did I set myself on fire today? Well, no, hang on. Before we get to that, let me tell you, folks, very exciting news. If you haven't already been to the website and seen it, go to VoFHQ.com and click on the membership account tab, which is on the far right-hand side. In fact, I'll bring it up here. You can see it is on the far right-hand side of the menu system there. If you click on that, it'll bring up a members login and a members levels. Just go to members levels. I don't think login's working yet, or it will after you've joined. I think that's how it works. Anyway, you can scroll through there and you can see all these different ways that you can help us stay on the road for 2023. Now, there's bronze fortnightly, which is like $2.50 every 2 weeks. You can pay it monthly if you want, which is $5 a month. You can pay it half yearly if you want, just pay it $30 every 6 months. You can pay it for a year, which is $60 a year. So you can choose which way it's easiest for you to pay it. We figured that was the easiest way to do it. Then there's the silver one, which is $10 every 2 weeks. There is the silver monthly, which is $20 a month. Just if you want to pay it monthly, you pay $20. If you want to pay it fortnightly, you pay $10 a week, $10 a fortnight. Then it jumps up again for the gold, $50. Well, I suppose the yearly silver is $240 a year, $120 a year every 6 months for half yearly, and monthly it works out at $20 a month. Gold is fortnightly is $50 every 2 weeks, $100 a month, $600 a year. $600 every 6 months, $1,200 a year. Platinum is $100 every 2 weeks, $200 a month, $1,200 every 6 months, or $2,400 a year. And you can choose how you pay it through selecting any or all of those options. There is also the donate button if you choose not to be a member, but you'd still like to fling us a few bucks. Or, God love you, thank you, Melissa. And usually, I'm not sure if I don't want to preempt her and make her feel bad. But Melissa, thank you for your sticker. And of course, there is another beautiful lady who pops in here from time to time who throws a few stickers around too. I hope you had a great Christmas, and looking forward to sharing big things with you next year. So the way we're going to do that and keep the Galactic Larrikins on the road, we're basically doing this for fuel, food, and whatever else we need to keep us going. There is talk of 15 shows in South Australia. If you're one of those people who are organising those shows, get a hold of Cherie at vofhq.com. We're going to line all that up. We were going to kick off in early January. Tomorrow night might have some interesting things to play with. Our new camera gear I've had sitting here for a couple of days, well, a couple of weeks now, and it's pretty flash gear. Tomorrow, because it's so flash, it requires somebody else to help me set it up, because I'm not very good at networks and IP addresses and all that sort of shit. So tomorrow we plan on doing something a little bit special during the afternoon. It'll only be short, but it'll give you a bit of an idea of how we can improve the quality of the pictures that we're bringing you and the locations we can bring them to you from. And then pack all that gear up, go to Canberra and sit with the Galactic Larrikins while we teach ourselves how to use it properly. There will be no audio issues. That's my promise. Sunflower, God love you. That is the lady I was referring to. Hope you had a great Christmas and very happy New Year to you too. So yeah, we're going to set that up tomorrow with a technical type. Brendan, God love you. Thank you for coming. Looking forward to it. And should only take a couple of hours or so. And we'll run a stream just quickly just to give you a bit of an idea of how it'll work. And I'll get Brendan to be the switcher. That should give him either scare him or get him very excited, one of the two. So that's going to be tomorrow. Go and check out the membership site, please. If you have watched that video that Sharia made us, well, she didn't make us. Sharia convened the meeting a few weeks ago. We talked about doing this. Now, our memberships are not putting anybody at a disadvantage. You will always hear the message from me. I'm not going behind a paywall or anything like that. We're not going to set up a secret special members area depending on the level of membership you have. There's none of that. You will still get the same message. You will be able to hear it for free anywhere. The only reason that the membership thing is set up is so that we have a way of trying to generate some forward fuel money so that we know when we get on the road, when I've got my vehicle, depending on what that vehicle winds up being, whether it's the current one or we wind up in a motorhome or a caravan that we've got to tow with something. The Galactic Larrikins have got to come on the road. That requires at least one van and one car until we can get another van for one of the Galactic Larrikins. And they will sleep in those vehicles and we will just hit the road. We don't want to have it cost the boys anything. In fact, I'd like to be able to pay them something every week. And they're going to do a lot of work. Hopefully, we're going to put on some shows. We're going to do some T-shirts. We're going to do some memes. And that'll hopefully be a way to help us kick along down the road. Cherie will tell you that I've always been one of those ones who just sort of says, well, I've got enough money to get me to the next town and I'll hang out there and do a show or two and then we'll just see what happens and move on and go to the next one after that. Apparently that's not the way we do things, certainly not when you're dragging other people away from their lives and taking them on the road. So would appreciate any support you have and can offer us for the memberships at whatever level. But please don't think that there is any special access or anything for it. It is simply just to keep us on the road. It'll make you part of the team. And yes, there is the odd benefit, I think, if you're, I want to say if you're a gold member or a platinum member, you get 25% off merchandise when we've actually got any you can have. Speaking of that, T-shirts. Great idea putting the T-shirts up. Unfortunately, the way that you see them on the website aren't the way they get printed. And that means we need to change a lot of the photos on the website so that they represent what you would actually buy should you buy it. So I know that there are 2 or 3 people who've actually paid for shirts already. And some of those, I think, have bought 2 shirts. So I think all up, I owe you 5 or 6 shirts. Folks, don't worry. We do have a list of those folks who have paid. Please don't jump in and start doing it or buying shirts yet until we've changed those photos over and you know what you're actually getting. And looking forward to trying to get Hayden Green on the show, who's helping us develop the logos and the shirts and all the other bits and pieces. And if you're a drop shipper interested in talking to you, you've had 2 of them fall through on us before Christmas. I don't know what's going on there. All right. Now, I have promised it. I'm going to finally bloody get to it. Today, I had... Well, I've been trying to emulate a certain scientific experiment that I saw a few weeks ago when a guy had, I think, 6 electrolysis machines shoved in different brands of water across the way. Now, he did everything much better than me, if I'm honest. He knew to only really electrocute the water for about 10 minutes. That's all it requires. And if you are using a sparkling water, maybe 3 minutes is enough. That's particularly for what I was trying to demonstrate. I boiled the San Pellegrino and kept topping it up because I was boiling it. I think I topped it up twice. So yeah, it boiled for half an hour because my test ran half an hour, and those machines are not voltage interchangeable. So there's no voltmeter on them. I can't knob it down, turn it up, whatever. They're all just flat out whatever came out of the socket, and they go through those little bars. Now, okay, given I went too long, not worried too much about the San Pellegrino water, and you're not going to see any of it here. What I'm going to show you, though, is Brisbane tap water, Brisbane, Australia tap water, and filtered Brisbane, Australian tap water. And when I say filtered, I mean really well filtered. The people on my Facebook page who watched a video of Gary and I putting together a water filter, or he showed us through his. I've actually built one of those myself. You haven't seen the video yet because it's all on a mobile phone that I can't get the freaking video off onto this laptop to edit it. But I will put that up. Now, it has a reasonably expensive, when I say expensive, I think it was about $75, $80, ceramic filter inside it that cleans about 99.9% of absolutely everything out of it. And there are some things where it drops to maybe 97%, 2 or 3. But the big ones, fluoride, chlorine, all that, 99.99999% gone. So I have used some of that filtered water and run it up against the Brisbane filtered water. And I just want to get rid of one user. There you go. Sorry. I'll get back to my video for the water test. Now, just have a look at this, folks. Yeah. Now, what's in the water? That has all been really, really, really highly filtered there on the left. And that there is what's come straight out of the tap. And you can see it. It's affected. The magnet isn't even in the water. And it's able to create almost a whirlpool of that. So this is a bit closer. This is the highly filtered stuff. I will play another video here in a sec that shows a few more close-ups. But I am amazed at the level of particles in there. Now that has come out of your tap, right? So we all understand it looks clean. It is, well, supposedly clean. And even when it comes out of your filter, it looks clean, but it isn't clean. So this is the water straight out of the tap. And this is the water after it's been through the electrolysis process. So what does the electrolysis process actually do? Well, what it does is it splits the water molecules And think about water not on a drop level or even a droplet level, but think about water at its most, minute scale, the molecule, the water molecule. Now, there is a organization that starts with D, has a P in it, and an A at the end, who holds a patent on something called nano encapsulation technology. So what would nano encapsulation technology involve, does one think? I don't know. I'm a bit confused about it myself, but why don't we have a talk about it? I want you to hear that, because I could swear a lot. There was a fair bit of... there may have been a bit of... So, God knows what sound you're going to hear out of this, folks. But look at that. I mean, seriously, folks, what is this crap? Look at that. So, my question is, nano encapsulation technology. Now, we didn't certainly see that amount of filth in those glasses of water when we started out, did we? There's about 400 mils, little under 400 mils of water in there. And after the electrolysis process, that's what it wound up having. That much filth. And it's all magnetic. Now, okay, given some of it might be rust, but the color of it, as you could see before, it's more black than anything else. Yes, when you spread it out a little bit like this, there is certainly elements of red to it. I can understand that might be iron. There are certain natural elements that do appear in the water. And I'll have another video for you tomorrow where I'll show you the corresponding water that came from the pump, or it actually might nearly be on the end of this video here, where we tested the pump and the Evian. That just amazes me. Look at that filth. Magnetic crap. Now, we don't see it. That's what I keep saying. We don't see it in our clear water. We don't obviously see it through our filtered water. Because while this is the straight tap water, the other one is filtered and really well filtered water. But, yeah, not so much for this nanoparticle style thing. So, what is nano encapsulation technology? What's where they put something inside something else, and the something that has to go inside the something is extremely small, because it has to go, the something it has to go inside of is a molecule of water, a water molecule. Now, the only reason that you can see this crap after, and this is what's hanging on the glass there, the only reason that you can see this crap is that after it's gone through the electrolysis process, and boiled maybe, although this stuff didn't boil. That's what's left. And you can actually see there the magnet implant on the face of that stuff. It sucks it up so hard and packs it in so tight. I'll do a little bit more on it. I'm leaving it settle again overnight. But there is absolutely no doubt there could be a bit of iron in there. That does not in any way, shape or form account for the amount of crap that's in there versus the professionally produced waters, which I'll show you tomorrow. They have a different colour crap in them and a lot less of it. So we will go through and have a look at the ones I did today, and we might do a couple of others tomorrow. I see some people have asked me to test different ones. I will. I do have a couple of those already here to test. Unfortunately, the Tasmanian ones I can't. Just look at this. So you can see that there are black particles as well as these red ones. And it appears almost like smoke in the water. Not on it, but in it. And it erupts out of the surface. The first time I did this today, it was like cracking the egg on or cracking a cake from the inside out. It was bursting out, ripping seams in the top. I missed that bit on camera. Went well, didn't it? But yeah. So tomorrow I'll show you the other ones. Different colour, different amount, and I suspect for the most part are mostly, I'm going to say oxide free. Why am I saying oxide? There are different sorts of oxide. The iron stuff in there, I think, is meant to be in there. That'll be the red colour. But there are other oxides, as we know, that aren't meant to be in there. And when you compare the colours tomorrow, I think you'll agree there's a lot more black stuff than there is red. Whack it under a microscope. Yes, I agree. Whacking it under a microscope would be a great idea. Okay, so do we have any scientists in the room? Because I'm certainly not. The question is, yes, if I could put it under a microscope, I would. I don't have one. My first question is, how do I drain this sludge out and keep the sludge? Would a coffee percolator kind of filter work? Where would I get filters? Yes, graphene is the word I was looking for. Yep, you're right. I think there's a ton of graphene in our tap water, in our town water, and because it doesn't undergo reverse osmosis or osmosis, it comes straight to us. So, apparently this can be fixed by osmosis, and I imagine osmosis. The osmosis process I will look into and try and explain. We'll see if we can get a little more detail to it, but I'm not completely aware. I hope that it has some form of electricity involved, because that seems to be the only thing that's going to kill it. Pardon me, a bit dry in the throat. So, centrifuge. That's probably a good way of doing it too. Some of these things have a lot of liquid in them. Not so much the ones you saw in that test. The other ones have got quite a lot of clear water with just the little stuff down the bottom. But yeah, coffee strainer, I reckon, might get the bigger stuff. Fish tank hose to drain just the top water off. Yeah, I've been wondering how to do that. I was going to go and get a turkey baster and sort of siphon it out. But, freeze. Well done. Thank you. Shane, I'll send it to you for first try, mate. We'll see how that goes. I think that's bloody excellent. Silver, 170 parts per million. Is that what you're reckoning? Somebody suggested that colloidal silver could be made, that those, I haven't got them here with me, but those rods that go on the electrolysis machines are made of silver. I don't know that they are, but they are certainly reacting with the sparkling water. Now, the sparkling water, I'll do another test with the San Pellegrino and another sparkling water that I have. Like for like, we'll see what comes out of that. It'll only be 3 minutes long. I'm really interested to see what sort of graphene levels come out of that. Or is it graphene? Whatever it is that comes out of it. Because, yeah, until we've got it analysed, we won't have the vaguest idea. Don't know if we've got any of those sorts of chemists watching us tonight, or analyst types tonight, who might be able to take these samples and give us a bit of a feed. But yeah, I'd be very keen on sharing them with you if you give me an idea on how to dry them out. I was thinking about frying them off, if you like, burning the water off, boiling the water off. But because this material is so small, I'm concerned that it will either be damaged or blown away or drift off in the fog with it. I don't know. So I'm not a scientist, as I say. Maybe that is the best way to do it. Okay. The rods have to be pure silver and low voltage. Well, there you go. Now, if I knew they were pure silver, I probably would have hung on to them. There's a bit of weight in there. No. And that's the interesting thing. These testers, right, I think they're about $11 each. They come from China. They come with no instructions except what's printed on the side of them. And everything that's printed on the side of them is either in Cantonese or Mandarin. Not a big use for me. Tried to get Google Translator to view it translated. It wasn't working either. So don't know if that has worked. Jenny's saying Guru had some bottled water tested. Yeah. We hear pretty similar things. I'm going to test some of that. I think I've got some of that out there, the Puree. There is also a couple of, I think Puree is a Woolworths brand. So I think that's getting the thumbs up from a lot of people that I've been hearing, but we'll test it. I've also got some other waters out there. Noosa Pure. I've got Woolly Sparkling. There's can't remember, quite a few other ones. So yeah, we will give it a go and see what we've got at the end of the day. I won't boil the waters like I have done, so they'll be shorter tests, much easier to watch. Might even do them live. That's why I didn't do it live this morning. I thought I had to do it for half an hour. Yes, the magnet would attract graphene oxide to the side of the glass, or draw it up through the mess, like we were seeing. So Fiji water, yeah, I haven't got any, but I'll get some. Yes, I have Mount Franklin. Haven't used it yet. That'll be one tomorrow. So yes, Mount Franklin, I think I might put up against Noosa Pure. We'll see what happens there. Pretty much like for like. And then the sparkling waters, because I think that one of those testers that I've got, I'll give it a good scrape off with my fingers and maybe a bit of vinegar to get rid of the reaction off the San Pellegrino pronged that were in there today, because they have grown something akin to coral. It's quite soft, just breaks off in your hand. But yeah, it's grown all over this thing. So I'm told I can just wipe that off, and it should be good for another use, at least one more use. The other two are relatively clean. So I'll get another few uses out of those, at least two each. And we'll keep testing. I wanted to buy more of those things, but oh yes, Hey, use gloves. Yes. Yes. I'm afraid, scientist I ain't. I was smart enough to keep away from the smoke that started coming out of uh, the, the glasses today when I started boiling, particularly the San Pellegrino. Yes. Don't scour, don't scratch the metal. No, I won't do that. I did hear that vinegar freeze was a good way of getting a bit of that corrosion off. But anyway, just leave it, see what happens. Not the world's most expensive thing. It does seems to take a while to come from China. I think I ordered those about 6 or 8 weeks ago. So things are getting through, just not real well. I wish I could find that bloody article. News.com.au seemed to have taken it down, which is probably good because the guy who wrote it was an absolute twat. But let me see if I can bring it back again. I did want to highlight some of the incredible things that he said in it, where he was essentially telling us to pull our heads in. Those of us that know anything at all about sovereignty are to be looked at as complete fools, as tin hat wearers, conspiracy theorists, and ignored, or better still, if they look like they could pin something dangerous on us, throw them in jail. We're too dangerous to walk the streets. Terrorists. That is how we are being labelled. Bloody terrorists. And I am absolutely disgusted that the journalist concerned, whose name was Jason Siddle or Seidel, Siedle from memory, yeah, got away with it. Maybe it's just until the day editor came on and saw what crap they were posting, and that seems to be removed. I can't see it here anywhere. So, yeah, the way my email has been working lately, if you are looking for email in return from me, folks, my email is getting pounded really, really hard. Not by anything you're sending me, but by, I don't know, forces unknown, unseen, unknown. They are slowing everything down. So when I'm inviting guests on for shows, I can send 4 emails from 4 or 5 different email addresses, and one of those might get through in a timely way. The others don't get through at all, at least not usually until the next day. I'm having the same sort of problem with other things now at the moment. So looking forward to seeing a friend of mine in the next few days who's going to go through this computer and tell me what I haven't done, should do via way of protection. Yes, Agate Master. What a very good one. Queensland Police Commissioner is telling your neighbour to dob you in. Yeah, well, I don't have to worry about the neighbour. We've got a visitor who turns up here quite regularly. Absolutely terrified. In fact, I heard a story that he turned up to see that my housemate was still alive after what happened in Tara. And she couldn't quite understand why. And he said it was because I was here. He thought the police might have been here. He hadn't been able to get a text message out of her for a day and a half or something, and thought the police had turned up. Wow. Well, not flash. But anyway, fully. Oh, yes, and I'm getting threatening emails about reporting me to ASIO. And I do get the odd comment here, I think, somewhere in chat. You can report me to ASIO. It's the wrong branch. You want to sort of go somewhere else. But I got nothing to hide. Nothing to hide at all. So there's nothing on these computers, nothing on my phones, nothing on anything. I can back up with truth and evidence, real evidence, everything that's been said here. And done for that matter too. Thank you, Aussie Sue. So that won't necessarily keep me out of jail if they come knocking, because they don't care about the laws. So, to be honest, haven't given any thought to it. Don't know what happens if I get locked up. Cherie's going to need a bit of support. So, and I'm sure she'll be working to try and get me some help. God, I hope she is. But if not, send an email to Laura, my daughter, who will be panicking. But I don't expect that to be the issue. I'm happy to talk to the police. I want to talk to the police. I'd like to hear that they're getting together and becoming a little more coordinated in their manner and measure and understanding of what their legal rights are and their legal responsibilities are to the people. Tomorrow night, we're going to be having a pretty interesting chat with John Wilson again. He'll be joining us along with Tim and Edith, who are putting together the Unite in Vhat scenario, where around the country people are presenting to military bases dressed in white and presenting a letter to give to the commander of the base. They had John Wilson read Psalm, I'm not going to embarrass myself, which Psalm it was, but he read a Psalm before the presentation at the Inaugural Army Barracks a couple of weeks ago and went very, very well. Now that's been picked up. There is a Unite in Vhat celebration going to happen in Canberra on the 6th of January. And if you're down that way, or maybe you'd like to take a day trip, love to see you there. And one of the Canberra Standers, Dan, will be joining us tomorrow night as well. He's part of this movement. Dan, of course, has been treated pretty badly recently. They turned up at the gardens they normally go to yell their morning greeting to the Governor-General. The police turned up, arrested a number of them, and had them spend the day being processed, if you like. Turned out that they held Dan a little bit longer. They found him to be in error of his rego. He was a couple of days outside the 6 months rego that he'd paid. So he sorted that out and was allowed to move on. They have now moved in right across the street. Who's moved in? The police have moved in. They've put a surveillance camera, one of those big mobile, crowd surveillance camera type things, up just across the road from where the Canberra Standers are locked into this gardens, into this park. They're banned from moving their vehicles because they've had their licenses suspended. Why have they been suspended? Well, no apparent reason, not because you've done anything wrong. It's just that they can do that and you have to go to court to get them unsuspended. And of course, they do that on Christmas Eve. That's essentially exactly what happened. Everybody had their licenses suspended. They can't drive their cars. They live in their cars, so therefore they're staying where their cars are. And now the police have set up 24/7 surveillance of them off a mobile trailer that is, I don't know, not even 100 meters away from them. Unbelievable. That's what I'd say. Unbleeding believable. Elsa, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your sticker. So look, that's just a little bit of the news of what's going on around here at the moment. Dan will be able to tell us more about that tomorrow night. Tim and Edith will be on to tell us about the Unite in Vhat. And of course, John Wilson always has interesting things to say. It will be a Friday free-for-all, so it will happen unless I've had all my YouTube channels banned. It will happen on Friday night on our YouTube channel. I did lose another one today for another month or so. That was a little bit unexpected. They went back through and found an old Ricardo Bosi interview and breached me on medical misinformation on that one, and then rejected my appeal that I hadn't filed yet. So thankfully they saved me the time because they rejected it out of hand. Anyway, that's the kind of bastard. So yeah, John's back tomorrow night, and I will tell you, been talking to John, was meant to actually have some long recorded conversations with John over the last 2 days, but circumstances have prevented. We are going to have a very interesting conversation and working together on a project that is going to be very good, I think, for us all. I'll let John talk more about that tomorrow night if he wants to. We may not let the cat out of the bag just yet, but really looking forward to working with John in 2023. There is some very exciting plans ahead, and Bosie, Melissa, hang on, I'll put a few of these things up here. I haven't heard from the Bosies since before Christmas, and all I know is that prior to Christmas, working very hard, working very, 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 very hard. Was at great pains to tell me that they're not a news organisation, so can't expect them to be working with that sort of regularity. Ricardo said to me that he would be on in the first week of January, so we'll wait and see. We were both a bit busy over Christmas and through this period, so nobody begrudges him having a day off if that is, and it's this time of year. Maybe he's taken the kids away for a beach holiday. Good luck to him if he has. Yes, Aussie Soup. God, no, there are very few punches pulled around John, I can tell you. And when you sit outdoors with John, having a few scotches and discussing the wars of the world until 2:00 in the morning, his voice carries a long way. Neighbours on 3 sides heard every word. Don't know that they agreed with many of them, but they heard them. It was a bit interesting. Just scanning for a few more questions here. Otherwise, I'll let you guys go. It was a very late start tonight. I apologize. Trying to get some stuff edited up for this show, and I wanted to show you this stuff, and I wanted to take the sound out of it, a few other bits and pieces. Unfortunately, I can't take the sound out of this, but I will fix that overnight and upload it. But yeah, just staggering stuff, huh? So disgusted at what's in our water. Really keen to try and find out more. And thank you, folks, if you can point me in the right direction of ways to get that out of the water and into the hands of somebody who knows how to test it, and preferably could let us have a look under. I've just had a thought. There is a doctor in Wynnum, Manly area of Brisbane, who bought himself one of these super duper high profile powered microscopes and found the graphene in the spicy darts and took photos of it. Now, if only I could remember his name, I will try and make contact with him and see whether or not he might like to put some of this under the microscope and tell us what it is. So there you go. That was the only thing I can think of. Yes, drink distilled water. It's about the only thing that you can be guaranteed isn't going to contain that sort of stuff. And yes, I believe that the clear water that is above all the filth is what would be distilled water. All the heavies, once the water molecule has been split by the electricity and releases whatever has been hidden inside it, because that's what nano encapsulation technology does. It hides really small shit inside really small shit and allows that really small shit to all come together and look like really clear shit, like there's nothing in that shit. But then give it a little bit of electricity, they all split, those molecules split, and they deliver whatever's inside them. And trust me, it's all shit. Nothing good about it. Nothing good about it. Reverse osmosis. If you can get one of those systems on your filter, on your tank system, on your water system, do that. I'm also going to be able to test rainwater. We trap some here, so I'll test some rainwater too. We'll see what happens there. All right, folks, going to love you and leave you tonight because I'm absolutely shattered. I started early. I've been staring at screens and smoky things and cameras and God knows what all day. And every time I blink, my eyes feel like I'm blinking on sandpaper. So we'll have another go tomorrow morning. In fact, as the test only runs for 10 minutes, or might even do the 3-minute one live tomorrow morning too. So be listening. The mornings are probably better when I do this stuff outside because the wind's not blowing. And yeah, tomorrow morning we'll do another live and see how it all goes. It'll be interesting stuff. Please don't forget to go and have a look at vofhq.com. If you would like to become a member, plenty of options there to join, from $2.50 a fortnight to $10 a month to $200 a month to whatever you want. Please look forward to your support. We look forward to coming on the road and helping you, bring your community together. We'll get a little My Place happening, action happening, and we'll get Darren Bergwerf on the road this year too. If it is the last thing I do, we are going to have him on the road with us for a little while. I'm really looking forward to it. All right, folks, have yourself a good night, and talk to you tomorrow.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!